Oh! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the review show. It's been a little while since we've done a review show. Super excited about it. The finally long-awaited episode is here. Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're going to go over some things and talk about some stuff. I have no idea how this is going to go down. I'm kind of nervous about it because Kelsey has been hitting at me like for a fucking month now that me and her are going to be just on complete opposite ends of the table in this. So I'm kind of interested to see where that's going to go.
But a few things, I already know we're going to disagree, and I don't care. I'm holding my ground.
That's not good.
So this should be interesting. I'm really, really excited to see where this goes. And we got Mike on here who's played it, JoJo on here who's also played it. Kelsey's played it. I've played it. I think I'm on my third playthrough now, and then my next one is going to be on hard mode. Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I guess to kind of jump into this, I wanted everybody to kind of just do a brief jump around the table and kind of talk about your knowledge, if you will, into Final Fantasy as a series, as far as how many you've played, and then what you've actually played out of the Final Fantasy VII compilation. So, Kelsey, I'm sure yours is going to be the quickest, so we'll start with you.
Played none of the Final Fantasies. I have only done the Final Fantasy Dead Funny University semester, which, if for some reason you don't know is on our channel, go check it out. We went through the entire first game, and actually a bunch of the games around it supporting it. That is the limit of my knowledge, other than the game that I just played and finished and love.
Okay. JoJo.
I've played, to some degree, I think, every numbered Final Fantasy game, and a lot of the weird spin-off stuff, too.
All the Chronicles and Tactics and Zeros and, yeah.
Theatrhythm.
Yeah.
Genuinely, really like Theatrhythm. And as far as 7 goes, I've finished it on my PSP, 10 years ago. On the PlayStation when it came out, too, but, get into it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Took me a while to come around to it, but I like it a lot. It's a good one.
So, as far as the compilation, you've played... I know you brought up Before Crisis, so I don't know if you played it or not.
Referencing things that exist then, I've not played Before Crisis. I've played some of Crisis Core.
Yep.
And I saw Advent Children.
Okay, and then Dirge of Cerberus?
I've read some amount of, the wiki to... the vaguest idea of what Dirge of Cerberus is.
Okay, fair enough. I like to say that it's not canon, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. But what about any of the audiobooks? I don't know where your knowledge is. That's what I'm getting into. There's 22 audiobooks. Yeah, there's 22 audiobooks, and there's also a written book called The Kids Are All Right. And then there's also Ultimanias, which are more Japanese only, but they do have English translations. So,
no audiobooks.
In case you didn't know, I'm fanboying. This is my love. I love Final Fantasy, so specifically 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so that helps me know where you're at.
Compares to Final Fantasy.
Not even close. Exactly, 100%. And then Mike, I know you got some.
Yeah, I've played every single Pokemon, starting from Red all the way.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
That is my Final Fantasy Pokemon. Anyways, I've played pretty much every Final Fantasy except for the first 3.
Okay.
I don't really play the spin-offs, though, like World of Final Fantasy, Dirge of Cerberus, all that stuff. I've never played any of those. But yeah, I played a little bit of all of them.
And
I've got the Mount Coral on Final Fantasy VII. My favorite is 9. I beat the remake. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I can't wait for part 2 in 3 years. It's going to be so... Whew, I can't wait.
In 3 years. We'll see.
I had to throw that in there.
Did you watch Advent Children or no?
Oh, yeah. I love Advent Children.
Okay. And did you see The Last Order, the anime episode, or no?
I watched a little bit of it.
Okay.
I saw a part where they were running through the running through the woods or something like that, and then I kind of lost interest.
So literally the first 2 minutes of it. Okay.
Yes. yeah, pretty much.
The one-shot anime episode. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. So that kind of gives
good feeling.
you viewers at home a little bit of our knowledge of where we're at, and kind of hopefully can understand, certain people's viewpoints on, whatever statements that we're going to make kind of going forward into this. So yeah, this should be interesting. I'm excited. So a little bit of a breakdown. I do want to point out before we jump into this that we do understand that this is a standalone title, but at the same time there are going to be multiple pieces coming out afterwards. So if it sounds like we're judging it harsh, any of us, and I don't know anybody's thoughts, we've all kept this to ourselves. If it sounds like anybody's judging it harsh, we do understand that this isn't the end of it, that there's going to be more. So I do want to throw that out there. And then
this is strictly our opinions. Okay.
Yes.
Internet, this is our opinions. You do not have to agree with our opinions. Strictly opinionated, okay?
And then I have made a promise, so I do have to say this for other people who were a little worried about this, but I had a stream going on the other night and had quite a couple dead funny people in there who told me 100% that regardless whether this is my baby or not, I have to be unbiased. So I will hold up that promise.
Like, are you going to chop off your head? Like...
You will not.
There were a couple people that were like, Chris, we know how much you love Final Fantasy VII, but if you go in there just saying this game was perfect, we're calling bullshit.
I'm with them, but I expect the bias from you. That's why there's 3 other people on here, so we have the opportunity to be like, all right, stop listening to Chris. This is the real issue.
Oh, man. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to throw that out there, and then I kind of already let the cast know off camera. I'm going to let you guys know as well. At some point, we will get to where I'm going to go into the more confirmed information, and by some point, I mean the very end, so that way everybody on the cast has their chance to get all their stuff out. Very end, I'm going to go into some confirmed details from the directors themselves that has come out in the recent Ultimania, and those are direct spoilers for questions that have yet to be answered and some stuff that could potentially spoil the second installment. So at that point, I will give them a chance to leave if they want to leave, and then continue the show on either by myself or with whoever who stays, or if everybody stays. And I will be letting everybody at home know, so that way if you want to tune out at that point, you can then tune out before you hear any of that. Okay, I think I've gone through all the breakdown shit. So we can start with the beginning thoughts, just your beginning thoughts on the game. Visuals, dialogue, having voice characters versus text. Give it to me. What'd you think? Kelsey, we'll start with you since you're the newest to the Final Fantasy series here.
Okay.
Just beginning thoughts.
So,
Bam!
beginning thoughts. Many parts of this were very pretty. I've been watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos of visual effects artists talking about how they make things and some of the challenges of making things. And I know actually JoJo has a background in this, so I'm actually really excited to hear what you have to say about some of this stuff. But I had a surprising amount of difficulty with the moments where like Cloud's hair would just like turn into a black and gray fuzz because they were trying to do all of the anti-aliasing with like his different hairs going in different directions, and it drove me crazy. The rest of you were giving me looks like I'm insane.
I don't remember this.
I never had that issue.
I was playing on PS4 on a 4K TV. Very large 4K TV, so we should not have had any issues. But his hair just kept having these visual issues where just there'd be this, it would be black and white all over it, and then just little yellow spikes out of it. And I'm like, this is crap, and I don't like this.
Literally
it's the
never
main
had
character's
that.
hair.
I have
Very
no idea
bad.
what you're talking about.
Oh, fine.
weird.
I will send you pictures. I'll get it up on my computer or my.
I believe
PC, and
you.
will send
I
pictures.
just think that maybe your pixels are a tad bit off.
Well, I'm curious then how that happened. I will make my husband fix that, and then I will replay the game and I will retract my statements.
I just love the thought of Kelsey going through the second time and be like, Cloud's glorious hair, this is amazing.
This has fixed the whole game. My initial thoughts were that I really enjoyed it. My major issues were with the female characters, but we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
I had no issues with them.
Yeah, we will get there when we get there.
We will get there when we get there.
All right.
Jesse, no!
JoJo, beginning thoughts.
Also, thought it looked amazing. Pretty much right off the bat. I didn't have a hair issue. There are a couple weird places where, like, background, or, like the skybox, looks kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
They're like turning out those giant lamps in that one area. If you look down, it's
It's
like, really
hideous.
Yeah.
It looks like cardboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Other
is.
than
That was
that-
ass.
That's fair. That's
incredible.
completely fair. I did look down and remember seeing that, and I was like, well, I would like to say that they just wanted to keep in the nostalgia of the painted backgrounds, but I know that's a lie. So
That was the only time where I was with the visuals. I was like, that's ass and bad, and you need to feel bad. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, that part's a little rough. But
Yeah.
it's a small thing, and I imagine it's very difficult to make that look good, right? Pretty labor intensive to make a whole city.
Yes.
from that high up,
I
And
give them a
get
little
detail.
pass on that.
yeah,
And all the extra little dialogue between the characters is having that makes me care about all these characters so much more than I ever did before.
it's fair.
I could barely tell you what Eris's personality was in the original game.
It's fair.
And here gets so much time to flesh herself out, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Mike,
The rendering. Yes, the rendering is probably my biggest complaint. My second complaint would be there's no colorblind mode.
Ooh,
Like
true.
I streamed the entirety of the game, okay? And at one point, like I actually had to walk away from my stream because they kept telling me to attack the pink one. Brother, I don't know which one's pink or green. Like I don't know, and they just kept screaming it in chat. And so I was like, I'm done. I had to walk away. I was like, why do you not have colorblind mode in your video game? It just makes no sense.
That's fair.
Is that normally in video games at this point?
Oh yeah.
Is that standard?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
can
mean-
go to I went and looked at it just for shits and giggles because I mean, as I stated, Mike's my best friend, so I fuck with him about that all the time. Every time we go to fucking play video games, so I've looked at that myself, and during I was like, "Ugh, dude, your eyes are fucked up. This is the way you see shit." Ugh.
But yeah, outside of that, man, I enjoyed the game. I absolutely loved it. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I was definitely I was a big critic when Chris started talking about it with the friend group and stuff like that. And I kind of regret that now because I do see what the game is. And I never beat the original. So this is kind of like this is Final Fantasy VII to me. So it's kind of cool that I'm going to be able to grow with this in separate parts, over the next 27 years and get to play it. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, what I thought was pretty awesome for you personally was like you were just recently doing your original playthrough, and you had just made it outside of Midgar. So
Yeah, I
everything
just
that
made it
you
out, yeah.
just played, you really just played in the original, and you got to directly see where it diverged and different spots opened up, and you did different things, like literally like right off the bat. I mean, you were literally playing the week it was coming out, the original.
Yeah.
For the first time.
That was pretty. It's pretty neat because I mean, in the original, if you're really good at the game, like Chris could probably get out of Midgar in 4 hours. But for myself, just in the original game, it took me about 8 hours. And then they added so much content to the remake. I played 60 plus hours and got out of Midgar. Like that's crazy to me. It's crazy how much extra content they just packed into it.
It's fair. It's fair. So I guess my beginning thoughts, it's hard whenever you look at something that's considered a remake because I was definitely on the side of I do want change, but it depends on what that change means. And I know I don't have the right to ask for that. I'm just the person that plays the game. I'm not the person who creates the game. But there are certain things that I think, and I'll kind of say this for our next little section where we actually get into the love-hate part. But just there's certain things that I wasn't necessarily a big fan of. I didn't really have too many graphical issues. I guess besides the one with knocking out the suns, the thing that really got to me was like with how flushed out and new these graphics were. I felt that it was kind of ridiculous in certain parts whenever players were talking, their mouths didn't sync up to what was coming out. Or like the sentence would finish and Aerith would still be like moving her lips as if she was saying something, but it was never in a cinematic. It was always like gameplay whenever you're walking around. It would be stuff like that, which kind of got annoying. I felt the audio wasn't the best whenever it came to vocals. There would be times where depending on where the player was standing around Cloud, that they would be louder or quieter, or you could barely hear them at all. There would be times where like I would hear Barrett talk, and then the moment I would turn Cloud, and I would be playing on a TV, not a headset, so where it's bouncing out of right and left ears, like it would just completely just cut off Barrett's rest of his sentence, and I would have to read it in order to know what the hell it was that Barrett said. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But it only happened very few times. It wasn't like it happened a lot. It was very few, but it was something that stuck out to me. And I wanted to make sure I brought it up just in case anybody else was having it. But,
Did you have the issue where anytime you were near one of the places where you could buy the music disc, it was so loud you couldn't hear anything anybody said?
Oh yeah, for sure. The music completely like outbeat anything else for sure. The music got like, but you had to be like right next to the vending machine for me. So yeah. Like, Tifa and Aerith could be talking about something as soon as I got next to a buy station. I was getting a disc. It's like, yeah, I have no idea what they're talking about anymore. Like zero.
You can't hear a damn
I was just buying the disc at this point. Like, give me the music. So.
And I thought buying the disc would make the music stop. It
nope.
didn't.
Not at all. Not at all.
You can change the music.
That's true. You can.
But it's all loud as hell.
Other than that, I mean, I don't really think I had any, like, as far as technical aspects, I don't really think that I had any issues. The fighting seemed very fluid to me. I was really happy with the art style as far as, the characters. There was one scene, and I don't want to talk about the scene too much yet, but I will bring it up just because it has to do with the visual aspect. When you cross into the crossroads, the portal, the crossroads or whatever, and it gets real animated and beautiful as fuck. That scene's graphics look completely different than any other part in the game. That wasn't just me, right? Like, Aerith looked completely fucking different. Animated, rendered.
There are a couple of those that are pre-rendered cutscenes that like look very different. You can tell in all the other cutscenes, like, Cloud's using the sword you have equipped to him. And those, he has his Buster Sword again.
Really?
Because it's not an engine. It's,
Oh yeah, I remember those. Now that you said that, yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
But that end scene, like, blew my mind. It was beautiful, and I was like, they look off. Like, they don't look like I've been staring at the same people this entire time. Like, they look different. Like, even Cloud looked a tad bit different. It wasn't too much, but it was enough that it was noticeable, and just enough that it was noticeable. Yeah, it's the scene where they go into the crossroads. You can look it up after this. I mean, I'm telling you, they look completely different. It's nuts. Like, Aerith the most out of everybody looks completely different. Like, her face looks like they changed some shit up and then forgot they did it for that cutscene and just left it. Like, because I know that there was this whole thing that came out and I never looked at it, and I strongly urge no one else to go look at it either. But there apparently is like this size chart out there, and it shows that Aerith's face is actually like really fucking long, like extremely long for like a human's actual face. And there's rumors that it got fixed before they released the game. But the original picture's out there, and I didn't look at it because I am definitely one of those people that once I see it, I'll never unsee it.
You can't unsee
And
it.
that would ruin this game for me, and I'd be fucking furious. So I stayed away from it. I encourage people to not go look at it. But I wonder if, like, maybe with them doing that, like maybe that kind of fucked up some scenes where they went back and tried to fix things up. Because, they pushed back production once on this already. Well, for all that we know of, technically it's been in production since 2015, according to fucking Nomura, so who fucking knows? But, I don't know. That one scene kind of stuck out to me a little bit.
I think that is actually confirmed that her face changed somewhere, because an early trailer, I think, had her face looking some way, and there was some negative fan reaction to it, and then they changed it.
Well, they did the same thing with Cloud, too. The very first original trailer, which is still out there, he looks like he's a cancer patient. He looks like he's dying. He literally looks sick. And it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And they changed that, and he looks healthy. He's got fucking, like, actual muscles on him. Like, he looks like he has color. Like, he's white, obviously, but damn, like, in that first one, he was, like, ghost white. It was nuts. And I remember seeing it. I was like, oh, this is badass. And it was because, like, I got to see Cloud 3D version model right here. And then all of a sudden they brought out this new one. And I was like, he looks terrible in that last trailer. He looks like he just got out the Mako tank. Like, he looks bad. Oh, my God. So, yeah, no. And that's probably where they made that change, too. But, yeah, I just remember that going up. And people were like, oh, yeah, you got to check it out. And I was like, nope. Nope. I'd do it. I'm never going to forget it. Because a lot of people were also making the reference between her and Tifa as well. And I was like, well, you got to remember, Tifa definitely has a lot more of that Eastern style look. And Aerith is definitely more Western style in the face. 100%. Between the two characters. And that
Which
could
I thought
definitely
was very
change the shape.
distinct in this
Oh, yeah.
game. Like,
Absolutely.
you could tell.
And I was like, maybe that's the change of the shape of the head, and that's what everybody's complaining about. But I don't know. Anyways, either way, I didn't look at it. So if that's how it stayed, I have no fucking clue, and I don't want to know. So that's it. I'm not gonna ruin the game for me over something stupid like that. But so I guess that's kind of good for beginning thoughts. So our loves and our hates. I guess since I keep picking on Kelsey, I'll go first on this one. Oh man. Did I really not like the fact that they tried to turn this into another Kingdom Hearts video game? I really did not like that. When we got to the highway and fought that big fucking guy, I was like, really, Nomura? Really? He looks like a gigantic fucking Heartless. Like, they exactly like a gigantic Heartless.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that I don't like about Kingdom Hearts games is like they take these small ass characters and put them up against these gigantic fucking enemies. And this is something that I've said multiple times to Kelsey and multiple times on podcasts on why this game means so much to me. Is like at the end people are like, well, whenever you look up like strength battles and character battles and the reason why Cloud loses a lot is they're like, well, Cloud couldn't even save his own game. Like the Earth had to save itself. It's like, but I like the fact that Cloud couldn't just go up and Omni Slash a fucking meteor to rubble. You know, like I didn't want that. If I wanted that, I'd go play fucking Kingdom Hearts because apparently Sora can fucking do that in his sleep. And that's literally what happened in this game. So we get this gigantic fucking guy, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, yep, it's got Nomura written all over it. So that I could have done without. Honestly, I think I could have done without any of the Arbiters of Fate. That whole thing that's going on, I think I could have done without all that. Like 100% could have done without all that.
And I'm still confused about the Arbiters of Fate. So,
well, we'll get into that. Well, we will definitely get into that for sure. But
I want you to be confused, so you
right. So you.
Next one.
Exactly.
Good job, fuckers. I'm confused.
So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Arbiter of Fate aspect. I'm not a fan of, and I know, once again, as I stated in the beginning of the video, I know that this is only part one. I'm not a fan that the Avalanche member survived at all. I'm not a fan of that. Like Wedge, Jesse, and Biggs all should have died. The fact that they didn't die where they were supposed to, not a fan of that at all. That to give
Jesse
them
lived?
that. Huh? Well,
Jesse
I'm
didn't.
sorry. That one's rumored because at the very end you see Biggs on the bed,
Bro,
and next to him is Jesse's
you made me so
gloves.
happy you ripped my heart out.
Well, next to him is Jesse's gloves and her headband. So
Yeah.
it is. They did find her body at the very least.
If
Very
Big
least.
survived, why couldn't Jesse?
That's true.
Yeah. No, Wedge. If Wedge survived, so did Jesse. Fuck
I did
Wedge.
genuinely look up, and I was like, is there a way I could talk to people differently and make Jessie survive? Because if I'm choosing between her and Biggs, or her and Wedge, I'm choosing her over Wedge.
You see the way Wedge runs?
yeah, that was another thing I had an issue with, dude. The way he runs, he fucking waddles.
Like that. I've never watched a human being run like that. It's
It literally, he runs like completely. What's it called? Not pigeon-toed. Is it cross-toed? I don't know. Where your feet go completely out when you run.
bow-legged.
Well, he's bow-legged and like cross-toed or outward-toed, whatever you want to call it. It looks so weird. Watching him run looks so
I thought
weird.
I thought it was a glitch, and then
No.
you see him a couple more times, and that motherfucker runs like that.
Yeah, 100%. That's what he does. That's what he does. But yeah, so I was not a fan of that at all. Obviously, the big fucking mindfuck, Zach. I mean, what the fuck? What was that? So that was something.
I want him to live.
I know you want him to live. Man, there's a lot about the game that I love though. There was honestly there were so many spots where it felt like they pulled specific things directly from the original, even character lines, like the whole Nanaki, for those of you who don't know his real name, Red 13's like actual appearance, like that was shot for shot, and I thought that was really fucking cool. Even up to what he said, I thought it was really fucking awesome. Really enjoyed that. There were a lot of things that didn't make sense. And one of the things that I guess I can complain about that I'm not a big fan of is that they cut areas off, in my opinion, too early. So, for instance, the church. When you originally get hit by the whispers into that back room after the fight with Reno, if you look to the right, there's an open door. There's a yellow piece of materia back there.
Yep.
And
The
you
whispers
can't get
stop
it
you.
until hours later.
So-
Yep.
You can't get it till hours later, but if you forget about it for a second and you get to where it turns night, I can't remember what the mission is, you get to where it turns night, you can never go back to the church. That's just it.
Never.
You can never go back. So to this day, I still don't even know what the fuck is over there. I've never gotten that materia. I forget about it every fucking time. So I'm just like, doesn't exist. Just fucking doesn't. I know it's yellow. I know it's command. I have no idea what it is. To this day, still no fucking clue. One day I'll remember.
Oh, you never got.
I never got it. I never got it. I forget about it every fucking time.
It's another chi. It's another chi.
It's another chi one.
That sounds like a you problem, not a game problem.
Oh yeah,
That's a
for
you
sure.
problem.
But I'm just saying, like they could make. I mean, I put it this way: what is going to change the story for me to go back to the church? You know what I mean? You know how many times I can go back to the church in Final Fantasy VII, the original? As many times as I fucking want to. It's very easy. You just gotta walk through Sector 5. It's very easy. Like, I don't get what is so big that's like, oh, we can't let him come back to the church. He's gonna find out about Part 2 and Part 3 and Part 4.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing in there that's gonna give me any kind of information about anything. And if there is, why did you put it in the game? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, nothing is gonna drastically change the story.
For sure.
Did do a lot more like railroading than I expected it to.
It's a lot more
The
linear.
whole
Mhm.
go and like do things in the community. In the other games that I love, those are much bigger areas and much more time that you can spend. This was thing. Let's move on. And it was like, really? It was 4 things? That's all okay, I guess we'll go then.
Right.
I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I think that there wasn't enough side missions, for sure, on one thing. And then two, I do believe for them to play this out the way they wanted to for Midgar, I think it did have to be pretty linear. I'll be interested to see what the next installments are going to be like with them being more, if they even install the fucking world map. But if they actually let you do the world map and all that stuff, I'll be more interested to see how that's going to play out. And my guess is that it's not going to be as linear. But yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It was extremely, like, the roads are narrowed. There's trash, so you can't walk this way. This fucking door's blocked, so you can't go that way. Like, if it was up to me, I'd be able to walk into every fucking house in Midgard and fucking say hi to all the fucking NPCs. That'd be great. I'd be completely fine with that. Zero issue.
Even if there's like, even if they're just like, fuck off, you know, it'd still be nice to go into the houses and see stuff. But yeah,
For sure.
I mean, when you make a beautiful game like that, you kind of have to cut corners in some places, and I think that's what they did. They were like, well, we made a very beautiful game, but it's going to be very narrow.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's just, they shouldn't have promoted it with the fact that it's like a living, breathing Midgar, because it's like, it is and it's not. It's like, it's living, breathing Midgar that you can go down these specific roads versus a living, breathing Midgar. Like, the city is alive. Go explore it. I can't. I can only explore what you want me
Sort
to.
of like Disney World Midgar, where you can do this living, breathing stuff in these select places, but you can't get behind the scenes.
Exactly. 100%.
I don't have very many hates on the game, but one of them is the fact that you were so pumped and excited every time you brought the game up. There was one thing you told us at the friend group: they have actual transportation to get you around Midgar. That's how big it is. That's your exact words.
And that was their exact words.
That was their exact words. There was actual transportation who gets you around Midgar because it's so large. And Midgar was large. The backdrop was gigantic. It was beautiful. I've never seen anything like that before in my life in a video game. It was very linear.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks.
Well, it was funny because they said public transportation. They're like for instance, you get to ride the train. Yeah, you do. In fucking cutscenes. You definitely do get to ride the train. And you also get to drive the motorcycle that one time. So it's like, come on, dude. That kind of sucks.
Chocobos, then that's
That's true.
Ride them for real, but
I'm worried about the chocobos. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of worried about chocobos.
I don't know, dude.
Did you flesh that out?
Yeah, what's your concern with the chocobos?
It just the transportation thing. I don't know, man. I'm excited for the game, but I'm concerned about just how non-linear the second part's going to be.
Oh, you're worried the trend's going to continue?
Had pretty good chocobo riding. They might just pull that.
Damn.
I really hope it's not like, oh, just go to the chocobo and then fast travel over here. I really hope that's not the
I
transport.
got it.
That'd be really, really cool. As if like you get to like a chocobo station and you go to another place, and then like they do this whole thing where like you have to like be inside the chocobo cart, and then wait till you get to your destination, and you get to do stuff inside the cart while you wait to get to your destination, and like you can play Gwent. That'd be pretty cool, right, Kelsey?
Like,
Cheers so much. I was like, where is he going with this? That was exactly my thought process.
better bring your Switch with you.
Card game, put Master in there.
Yeah, exactly. Throw some card games in there. That'd be great. And Cloud would just hit you with the not interested, but that'd be great. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, the world map's gonna be weird. I mean, it made sense for the era that it was out, but now that we have this new age, like it's hard for me to see these kind of graphics with this gigantic fucking world, and you're just running around as Cloud. Like it's very hard for me to see that. So I kind of think that the whole transportation system is going to be this whole portal shit set up.
Fast
where
travel,
you're going to go through the portal, and then you're going to be able to choose on a map where you want to go, and then you're going to come out of the portal in that spot. So I want to go to Calm. Bam, I'm going to teleport to Calm. I definitely think that's how the transportation is going to be. I think that was 100% a leak as to this is going to be how you transfer from place to place. So I could be wrong. I could 100% be wrong. But that's just my opinion on that one. That one I have no confirmation on. So,
You saying, JoJo?
It's gonna be hard for them to. There's at least 2 more parts, you assume, and if they have to make the whole world map for the next part, that's gonna take forever.
Right.
I figure they have to restructure it somehow.
So that's something that's something that I think I could kind of talk about. It's not a spoiler, but it is something that the directors did talk about, and it is. They're still confused on whether or not this is going to be, or how many parts this is going to be. Nomura said either 1, I can sit here and put a lot of time into it, and we can try to go for a 3-disc series and put a lot of time, and it's going to take a couple years for each one to come out. And it's probably not going to be as good as what I would rather do, which is not put a number on the series. And then just spend every single game like the Midgar one, where it's a section of the game, highly detailed, highly drawn out, giving you the entire story of this place and everything. And then we move to the next, which we will be able to pump those out faster. Because we're not working on an expansive world. We're working on just a section at a time. Which I'm not against, but it depends on if that section is going to continue to be the full length of an actual Final Fantasy game. Versus, okay, this is like 15 hours of gameplay, and you're charging me full price. Then I'm going to be a little pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get the 40 to 60 hours of gameplay and fleshed out storyline and stuff like that, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with them. Go ahead.
To find breakpoints in the story so that you don't feel at the end like just arbitrary. Like, oh, we don't have time.
Yep.
This part's over now. You need to keep putting in more weird giant
Cliffhangers
monsters.
and shit. I hope they don't do that, dude. If I had to fight that fucking Heartless every fucking time at the end of the game, I'm gonna get pissed off. I'm not gonna lie.
You will be salivating and shaking from rage. It will be a weird thing.
I would rather fight Hell House as every enemy in the game than fight that fucking thing again.
Just
Hell House.
fell over from Hell House. That's
Hell
shocking.
House was a bastard. It took me 45 minutes to beat that thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a basic ass monster in the game. What the heck is going on?
Yeah. In the original, that is a basic monster, and you fight it possibly like maybe 2 or 3 times max, unless you're literally just farming that section. Other than that, you literally never see Hell House again. They turned this whole thing, which was cool.
It was a fun fight.
Cool. Yeah, but yeah, it took fucking forever. Because, yeah, the first couple fights, I was like, I'm just shredding through these fucking people. Like, this is fucking easy. And then they bring out Hell House, and I was like, what the fuck is this not? And that took so... every time that motherfucker sucked up Aerith. Every time. Every single time. I was like, Aerith, for the love of God, I just need you to be on the opposite side of the fucking Coliseum. Every time. If Hell House is on the left, I need you to be on the right every time. And I would move her to the right. As soon as I switch back to Cloud, she's like, let me run back over there. No. And then all of a sudden, Aerith's get damaged. And I'm like, you're the healer. Stay over there. Please. Like, God damn it. Oh my
I'm
God.
very annoyed that while we had teams, we could not tell our teams anything. You had to jump into their bodies to go and like do something as them. I know you could give them instructions to actually like use their stuff, but you couldn't tell them. For example, in Mass Effect, I can specifically say, "Go hide behind that thing and sit your ass there until I tell you go somewhere else." And I loved that, and that would have been very helpful in
Oh,
things like the fight with Hell House and trying to protect Aerith from or just running face first into every enemy that showed up.
Every time he did the fucking chair salvo, I was like, yeah, she's dead. She's dead. Every time. Because he'd shoot it at Cloud, and I'd be running, and then all of a sudden I would just see little Aerith just chugging behind me. And I was fast enough to beat the chairs out by one step, so she's just getting fucking plastered in the face by all this fucking furniture. And I'm just like, at this point, I'd rather just stand still and just block and take half the damage with fucking Cloud just to keep my damn healer alive. Like, Jesus. Oh my god. But, once again, the combat was really good, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Enjoyed with just kind of Midgar in general that we've talked about. Each of the sectors looked different.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sector 5 and the slums and Sector 6 slums and Sector 7 slums looked nothing alike at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't expect that. I expected them to have kind of one template and then just to use it again and again, and you just kind of had to remember where you were. The fact that I could look at my surroundings and go, oh no, I'm obviously in 7. Like, that was very surprising, and I absolutely appreciated the artistry that it took to make that and do that and have those all feel different.
Well, what's cool about that is, like, the entire underplate is supposed to be considered the slums. Like, that's where all the poor people go live. And, yeah, for them to be able to artistically make each different section have, like, its own thing that brought out its own value. So it's like the people in it handled stuff differently and did stuff different ways. I thought was really cool. Like, for instance, Sector 5, where, like, basically the fucking kids ran the town. It was ridiculous, and a lot of that was, like, rooftop, to where in Sector 7 you didn't see that. In Sector 5, like, a lot of people are always on the roofs. There are even houses on the roofs of other houses and shit. Like, you didn't see that in Sector 7. That wasn't a thing.
And then you have wall market and stuff like that. Like, man, it's beautiful.
Dude, wall market was so good. Wall market was so good.
The aged damage you could see in Sector 6. That was so cool when you were out by the church and you just see these mounds of like what fell before. That was awesome. Sorry, Jojo, I think I cut you off. What were you about to say? I apologize.
No. I think you cut me off.
Wait, which sector was the one that they dropped the plate on first?
The Sector 6 was.
Sector
and it wasn't that they dropped it, they were in the middle of construction and then something broke and it fell. And that's the one that Aerith was talking about.
Oh,
She's
so
like,
they didn't purposely drop it?
No. That was only Sector 7 that they did that too.
Okay.
And that's the one where Seventh Heaven and all that was. Which Seventh Heaven was the shit, by the way. And I was so happy whenever I sent both Mike and Kelsey that picture message of me beating Wedge's high score in darts. I was like, fuck you, Wedge.
So beat his high score, but yours was higher than mine, so I was like, I'm just not going to respond to this.
I thought you could go back, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to fuck around with this. I kind of just assumed that I'm going to be here in Midgar for a while, and so I did the darts a couple times. I was like, fuck this stuff. I'm done. I kind of want to move on, and I never got to go back and do the darts, so I have to redo those because I missed an achievement or a trophy.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is that they actually put, because at first I was a little bummed out about it, because I was like, oh, it'd be cool if like Wedge notices it, and then later on he actually does. He actually does like talk about it, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, does he? That's actually
he literally goes, oh yeah, by the way, Cloud, you beat my score, or you beat my score, so here you go, and he gives you a gift.
And I'm pissed about the Jesse motorcycle ride too, because there's a trophy for that scene. It says impress Jesse on the motorcycle, and then like, I don't get how you impressed her any more than what I did. Like, she was all up on me. I don't get it.
I think you
not take damage.
Yeah, you have to not take damage, and I think you have to hit every single one of those ramps. Because what I didn't notice the first time through is that whenever you hit the ramp, it automatically refills your ATB.
Recharges your shit.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. The moment your wheels touch down, you get your ATB fully back, and you can launch another sword.
Yeah.
But I was gonna fuck it.
Kelsey got it. Because from what I've heard, and I haven't seen this, so it could be completely rumored, but from what I heard is that when you unlock that, because Jessie, instead of just hugging you, she gives you a kiss on the cheek.
Fuck, I should have got that one.
So
Jessie's my girl.
Because I haven't gotten it either. So, like I said,
Cute.
It's rumored. But, yeah. It's definitely one that I want to go for.
Speaking of ATB gauges and stuff like that, though, I am pretty aggravated at the fighting system.
Really?
Because I am not a big fan of Final Fantasy 15's. Oh, you can only summon, whenever you're like about to die. I hate that because I played Final Fantasy 15 for about 60 hours and I didn't beat the game, but I only got to use my summons like 3 times total. And I'm like, why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? And the only time you can use a summon in Final Fantasy VII Remake is after you stagger the enemy. And I'm like, and it's got to be a boss. It can't be just a regular enemy. It's got to be a boss, and you have to stagger it before you can use a summon. And that is so dumb.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's got to be a specific fight that actually allows you to summon. Especially with the original being, you can literally summon the moment you get in the fucking fight and just be done with it. Knights of the Round, I'm gone. Knights of the Round, I'm gone. Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, I'm glad I didn't know about that, because if I'd known, that would have pissed me off in this game.
Yeah.
They were differently in the original 7 though too, so they were just kind of like spells.
Yep.
Thing once and then we're done. This here they come out and hang out for a while, and so.
Yeah, they do a lot more than they did. They came out and they basically, if you look at a summon now, its attack it does when it goes to leave is all it would do in the original game. If you would summon it would do that attack, and then it was out. And this one, it stays, it hangs out. You can make it, if some of them have multiple attacks, you can make it do its multiple attacks to eat up that bar faster, and then whenever it's done, it does its ultimate attack, and then it bounces. So you do get them for a lot longer. I will give you that, but yeah, I do understand where you're coming from, because the artwork on those summons are fucking badass, and if you really don't get to enjoy it because you don't get to see them that much, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I died to like fucking fat chocobo chick just because I was so amazed at all the different shit it kept summoning out. I was like, oh look, it's fucking Toddberry. Oh look, Moogles. I was like freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh shit, this is cool. And it would just sit on me, and I'm like, well, I'm dead. So,
dude, I got baited by Tom Berry. I don't think I ever remember fighting Tom Berries before. And that little motherfucker came up and shivved me, bro.
And that's it.
Yep. I was pissed.
Yep, that's what he does in the original.
I was like, oh shit, look at him. He's like slowly walking up to me. I was going to beat the hell out of it. KO. I was like, damn, man, I gotta. And then poison and sleep in that game is OP. It's OP.
Yeah.
The first time you fight those the insects at the grave or whatever, in sector, what sector is that? Sector 7, I think.
It's Sector 5.
Or in between or something. Yeah,
no, it's Sector 5
so
because you're going to help the old guy who can't go visit his wife in the graveyard because the monsters
in the graveyard. And those little bug things, they beat the shit out of me because
angry enough that I was like, "What is this?" And then I realized, oh, it's poison. And then there's all kinds of stuff you can buy to prevent poison from affecting you. Threw that on everybody, beat him in 10 seconds. And I was like,
but I was like, nah. Fuck that! I want my strength. I'm not equipped in poison immunity. Fuck that. That's a waste
then
of
you
money.
did that to yourself.
That's a waste of money.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm with Mike on that one. I never use that. I just put cure. I just put cure and Asana on fucking Aerith, and if I really need it, I'll have her pop it. Other than that, I don't pay attention to that. If I get status, it's
about money though. Like I was rolling in money at the end. I'm like, everybody gets a thing.
Oh yeah, no, I had plenty of money. it's a waste of my time. I'm like, I don't know.
It's really
I literally sell every like antidote and shit like that I get. I sell all that. I literally keep potions, high potions, and Phoenix Downs. That and ethers. That's it. Bro. Other than that, I get rid of all that shit. Don't care about none of it. Don't care about none of it.
So good.
Can I rant for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So my rant, and there are many things I love about this game. My rant is about the damn female characters. They are the definition of peppy. That is my only complaint. Only complaint about the female characters. They are gorgeous. They are friendly. They are fun. They are peppy as fuck. They are peppy to the point where they do not have a personality outside of their pep. And I'm like, I will punch you in the face if you come at me with that one more time. Dear people, if this game is your best exposure to women, we are not that fucking peppy. We're not. FYI. Just deal with it.
That's true.
Yuffie is not like that at all. Or no,
I don't want it.
Be exactly like that.
I'm so torn, man.
She's gonna be overly peppy.
I mean, more. Yes.
Yeah, like.
Well, the cool part with Yuffie is that she's gonna be cocky too. That's going to be the cool part with Yuffie, because she's very fucking cocky, and I'm really excited to see that part. I'm really not excited for her to steal all my materia and then give it back to me completely out of order and shit like that. That's going to fucking make me irate, but, other than that, I'm excited to see Yuffie. Fucking goddamn it. And I don't know if you guys found out or not, but her fucking soundtrack is one of the CDs in the game. I actually found it. I haven't found all the soundtracks yet, but I was so happy whenever I got this. All of a sudden, it's like Descendant of Shinobi, and I was like, ah, that's Yuffie's theme. Yes. I was like, yeah. I put it on. I was listening to it. I was like, yes, dude. I was so excited. I still haven't found all the music tracks
Are
yet.
you actually yelling these things out loud when you're fighting them? Or is
100%.
He does.
100%. 100%. I get so fucking happy. Like, here's the best way to fucking bring that home for you. The scene where Sector 7 is falling down. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I was just in awe. And then I saw Kate Sith. And I was like, Kate Sith! Yes! Yes! I was so excited to see Kate Sith. And it was such a dramatic moment. But I was so happy to see Kate Sith. I was like, oh my God! I was so excited.
I also reacted to that, but I think I said, fucking what? I wish like he hadn't shown up. If you're a person who didn't know the game before at all, and you saw just, here's this weird cat thing upset about what's happening.
That's true. I didn't think about how confusing that is for new players.
Out of nowhere.
Pumped for Scott to play the remake because he didn't play the first one at all, and I'm like, if I hadn't gone through the DFU and if I didn't know what I know, I would have no damn clue what was going on for a lot of this. Like, there were a ton of references that you'd only get if you'd played the original game or had Chris explain it to you. So I think Scott's gonna play it, come to me and be like, what the fuck is this? I'll be like, yeah, play more. Watch the DFU, make your choices.
Your case with Theorem is definitely like the height of, so you had to know what it is.
Oh man. Oh my gosh.
I'm actually pretty excited about it because my wife watched me live stream it, and she's a huge Legend of Zelda fan. Like, she's played all the games and stuff, and she actually sat down and she was like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, well, what is this?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't fucking know. Why don't you watch with me and find out?" But she's like, I want to play this game, and I was like, when I get done beating it, it's all yours. Play it to your heart's content. And she plans on playing it here soon. So I'm pretty excited about that, man. That's going to be, pretty sure, her first Final Fantasy game.
There you go.
It's going to be part 1 of the remake. So,
and that's exactly what they wanted out of it, was that to be a lot of people's introduction to the Final Fantasy universe. That's fucking awesome. That's sweet. Yeah. So I guess now we can kind of transition into the... Go ahead, Kelsey.
Well, two things. One last super major praise, and then we never got to hear JoJo's rants on anything that he has said.
That's true.
So, super major praise real fast. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when the girls were all dressed up for Corneo, so they're the prettiest that they are in the whole game, right? They are the male fantasy, right? They're the craziest, prettiest.
Are you talking about Cloud?
Yeah, obviously Cloud. Cloud
I'm clapping them cheeks.
Anyways, did you guys may not have noticed, their skin was not perfectly monotoned all the way down with all that leg you could see. They actually had like splotchy bits on their skin, which is amazing because real women do. And I was like, wait a minute, these actually look like real women to some degree. This is amazing. And I lost my shit. And my husband was like, can you please calm down? And I said no. And I jumped up and down a bunch more. So, Jojo, what did you enjoy?
I was way too focused on Tifa in any outfit she was wearing.
Yeah, I was not looking at legs.
And second off, well, I was definitely looking at legs, but that's because I'm a leg guy. Anyways, but second off, by far my favorite part of the fucking game, easily, was the dancing.
The
dancing
thing?
No, the dancing. Yeah. By far.
Yeah.
I literally the entire time I was having troubles doing the fucking button animation because I just wanted to watch Cloud dance. Like, I was like, this is amazing. I was like, dude, he is, like, at first he was like, I don't want to do it. And I was like, you better get up there and make Zach proud, goddammit. You better bust some soldier first class moves. Let's see this shit. And Cloud just started getting it. And I was like, let's go, dude. I had no idea Cloud could do this.
Of the game as well. That was 100% my favorite, and I did not expect it to be.
No,
that was absolutely my favorite part of the game. Was the dance scene. I absolutely loved it.
Well, when they made you do the practice,
I kind of expected him to get up there and be like, oh, dance and stuff, but he actually got into it. Like, he got into it. Yeah, he was fucking dancing. I loved it.
Well, and one of the main reasons why I think I loved it, and this is actually something me and Kelsey talked about in the DFU, and why I was so big on them not taking the cross dressing scene out, was because it showed a way that where Cloud was like, this is my only option. This is what I have to do to save the person I want. And he was going to get off stage, and then he saw Aerith there. She got in her dress. She was all dressed up. She did her part. He's like, fuck it. I have to do my part. And then he turned back around and then did it, and I was like, fuck yeah. Awesome. Let's get it. Yeah, and I literally sat there and practiced that fucking practice run over and over and over and over until I got it perfect. And I was like, and you get a music disc for it? Yeah, I think so. And then bam, I went right into the actual dance, and I was like, let's go, dude.
And the earrings.
What's that? Oh yeah, and the earrings. Yeah.
Yep. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the crowd reactions from Aerith too, when you like screw it up, are very fun.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
And to be supportive, but you're doing awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to like animate dancing badly if you screw it up, but so that'd be pretty hard.
I love certain back and forths with certain characters. I thought Barrett was way fucking funnier in this game than he was in the first. Like Barrett was really serious and always yelling and cussing all the time. He was hilarious. When you get to that scene where you're doing the fucking levers, he talked so much shit the entire time, dude. Like when we finally get done, he's all like, I thought you was in Soldier. And Cloud's all like, well, they didn't teach us levers. He's all like, oh, so you must have skipped Soldier 101, huh? And then Tifa's like, all right, that's enough. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And then even while you're fucking up, Barrett's like, all right, we'll go on me. And Cloud's like, well, that doesn't make sense. We'd go on Tifa. She's the one that's in the middle. He's like, fine, I guess we'll do that. And then he starts singing that one song. I don't even remember what it was. But it was like, I click a lever, you click a lever. And I was like, what is fucking happening right now, dude? Oh, man. And then Mike... I didn't even know that there was a difference in the choices, but there was in the first game, and I don't know why it didn't click in my head, but you went up the stairs. I took the elevators. And I didn't know that you could go up the stairs. So then I got through and I went and watched your stream. You went up the stairs, so they were all that whole like tired and fucking exhausted and shit. I never saw that in my first playthrough.
In the are you talking about in the Shinra Tower?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, because I took the elevators and went straight up.
So you go up to the recreation center.
Right, yeah,
So
because...
you just took the elevator. I thought about it. I was like, I'll take the fucking elevator. And I was like, wait, no, there's stairs right here. I'll take the stairs and see how far that gets me.
Well, see, I thought it was going to be like the first one, because in the first one, you get to the doors, and then Barrett says that. He's like, do you want to go in shooting? And then Tifa's like, maybe we should sneak in through the stairs. And you choose.
Oh, you're talking about that part where
Yes.
like you actually have to... Dude, that part aggravated me. I knew what was going on. It was fun. But, like, at first, you're, like, running up the stair. And then my character, I kind of just noticed it. It was a very, it wasn't, like, just put out there that they were actually slowing down. And then fucking Tifa ran in front of me. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I sat there for a second. I was like, okay, Barrett's slowing the fuck down. Like, what's going on? And then Cloud started slowing the fuck down. I'm like... what is going on here? And then I realized that he went from a jog and he's like fucking walking. I was like, instant regret. Yeah, instant regret. That took like 20 minutes for me to get to the top of the stairs. And everybody in chat's like, bro, just run up the stairs. I'm like, look here, guys, I can't run.
He's fucking
will not pick his ass up. Yeah,
He is walking, okay?
Oh, shit. Because I like switched over and I saw them all tired and I was like, dude, I totally missed out on this.
Yeah,
George, what was that?
Yeah.
There's no reward for choosing to walk up the stairs.
No.
It's a mistake.
No,
No,
there's
you
none.
just
Besides if you want the extra dialogue, that's the only reward you get.
So years ago, I was playing Tomb Raider, and she was like running some, and then she'd stop, and then she'd walk, and because she was exhausted, and I was sitting on my couch, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, come on, you can't run a little further? And then it dawned on me that I was like over 200 pounds and incapable of doing what she was doing, and I'm like, I need to get up and go get myself in shape. And this was the first video game where like Cloud's running up these stairs, and I stair climb. That is what I do when I'm working out. I go on stair climbers, so I know how fast I can make it up 60 floors of stairs. And so when Cloud slowed down, I'm like, bitch, you say you're soldier first class, I could kick your ass right now. Speed your ass up. And then Tifa ran past him. I'm like, see, I'm Tifa's. Fuck you, Cloud. Like, I was actually very proud of myself. I was like, all right, I have reached video game level of performance. I am pleased.
Oh, shit.
I forgot about that part now you brought it up.
Yeah, like I said, dude, I literally was just like, oh, Mike's playing. I'm ahead of him, so I could safely watch his stream. And I just clicked, and all of a sudden I just see you. Like, I literally saw, like, Cloud just basically hands on his knees, breathing. And I was like, where the fuck is he at? And then, like, that's never Barrett. I see Barrett slowly just sauntering up the stairs, like, I'm too old for this shit. And I was like, that was an option? When did that happen? I missed out on that. Holy fuck. Oh, man.
It's wonderful because Barrett keeps yelling at you from below. He's like, will you slow down? And Cloud's like, no.
You gotta slow down. Nah, man. Gotta keep going.
Tifa keeps encouraging you. It's pretty wonderful.
That's great. That's great. So yeah. So before we moved on, any other love hates, JoJo?
Yeah, sure. Final Fantasy thing I love in general is complicated level up systems. Really enjoyed them adding the weapon upgrade thing, sort of like a little sphere grid.
I like that. I was very because of how iconic the Buster Blade is. It gave you a chance to continue to use because I've literally switched to the other swords, learned the sword skill, and then never touched them again.
And then never touched it. Yeah.
Went through the entire game with the Buster Blade. And I am so happy they did that. To have literally something as iconic as the Buster Blade and then it literally be useful like 2 hours into the game made no sense to me. Made no sense to me. So it is complicated. I will agree with that one because like it got to the point where like I don't even, as soon as I get the sword skill or weapon skill, I don't pay attention to any of the skill points anymore. I'm like, that weapon is dead to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's not even here. So like it will literally, I'll go to level up my weapon. It's like, you have 5 points to use on the Buster Blade. But you have 140 points to use on every single other one of these weapons, and I'm just don't care. Literally don't give a shit.
My OCD was like, nah, dude, you gotta level up every single weapon, even though you're not gonna use them. Unfortunately, like, nah, you gotta level them up, buddy.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. And the thing I did not enjoy is how long it took to cast a wind spell.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that took way too fucking long.
I would miss all the time.
And I actually just saw a thread, I want to say today, where it was like, awesome Tifa combo with wind materia. And I'm like, there's no way. It's impossible. It takes like fucking 20 seconds for it to activate. Like, you shoot it, and it's like, wait, boom. I probably missed, like, if you actually had like a hit-miss calculator on that, my accuracy with that wind spell has got to be like 5%. Has to be, because I cast it and then it's like they move away from it and then it shoots up and I'm like, great, thanks, awesome, glad you're here. I gave up on that materia so fast.
Blizzard did that as well. Blizzard, it
does take a second.
You would shoot it out and it would sit there for a second and spiral and then it would explode. And so I was like, this is fucking useless. I'll just fight it. I'll just use elemental materia. Boom, roasted.
I don't think I ever cast an Aga spell because they were so slow.
Yeah. That's fair. One thing that I am mad about, and it's this is total user error. I didn't think about the fact that, I knew that they were going to be taking some materials out, that they weren't going to keep all of them in. I didn't think about the fact that they might rename some of them. It took me forever to figure out that Magnify was all.
Yeah.
It took me forever. And my first playthrough, the entire stream, I'm saying that constantly. Where's the all materia at? Where's the all materia at? It would be great to have the all materia right now. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to start leveling up Magnify. So I put it on Cloud with fire. And then I shot it and I was like, oh, Magnify makes it bounce between the targets. That's cool. And I went like another hour thinking that. And then I went to go use it and I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. And I moved it and put it on Aerith and cast Cure, and it cured the whole team. And I was like, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. This is all. They just renamed it. I was like, God damn it. This entire time, every time I saw a piece of blue material, I was like, oh, please be all. Please be all. Please. I had it the whole time. I had it the entire fucking time. It was just renamed. I was so mad at myself. I was like, in fact, that it took me this long to figure this out. Because I just, oh, cool, new piece of material. Magnify? I don't know what that does. Moving on. Like, I literally just moving on. I'm just going to keep using what I know.
I never even figured out that I could use it on non-attack spells.
Yeah.
So I went the whole game not doing the cure all thing.
No way. Oh, I'll say this. Prayer was OP, bro. When you leveled up all the way. Just for 2 ATB, max ATB, and then you pop prayer. Oh my gosh, bro! I had one on Barrett and on Aerith, and I was like, sweet.
One on Cloud, but that was my fault.
I'll say. So my brother-in-law, he's a Final Fantasy VII guy, right? He did not know Aerith was the real name, because whenever he came over one day, and I was playing, and he was like, Aerith, why'd you name her Aerith? I was like, that's her fucking real name. He goes, no, it's Eris. And I was like, no, please don't tell me you've gone your entire life thinking her name is Eris, like me, okay? Don't tell me that happened. He's like, yeah, man, no, it's Eris. I'm like, all right, bro.
That's why I'm so happy we finally have voice actors, because they fucking said it in the game. You don't get an option. They hit you in the face with, it's Aerith. For the fucking sake, it is Aerith. Come on. So I was so happy about that. And I still, like, today I was in a fucking Final Fantasy blog on Reddit, and we were arguing over who was a better villain out of Kiefer and Sephiroth. And someone was bringing up that they thought Aerith was the most useless character. But he's like, he literally said, yeah, Aerith easily was the most useless character. And I was like, well, your argument is useless because you obviously don't even know her real fucking name, so I'm done with you. I completely dismiss anything you had to say at this point.
That was exactly the message, too.
That was 100% the message. I was like, well, you can't even say your real name, so I'm done with you.
You're useless. Fuck you.
Oh, man. That's funny. Yeah, no. Wow. Yeah. That's I will say auto cure, I think was my love. That was my prayer. I love auto cure. Fuck yeah. I put that on Tifa, and I had my other healing on Aerith, and like, yeah, just to have a backup healer for like if I got low, Tifa's like, hey, by the way, here you go, and just pop cure on me whenever I got low and I didn't even have to switch to Aerith. I was like, fuck yes, dude. This is great. So I literally just switched to Tifa, get her up to 2 ATB bars, and then just switch back to Cloud. And then fucking if I got low, she would just pop an auto cure on me every time.
Love that.
It was great.
Yeah, I went through most of the game, 3/4 of the game, without knowing that there was a certain button combination you could press whenever you're trying to use items to heal or whatever, like a potion, and you can actually like hold the menu open and press a potion on each person.
Yep.
So I was like individually like potion, this person, potion, this person, potion, this person. When I could have just held that menu open, just potion on everybody. Blew my mind.
Yep.
I never figured it out, and I also didn't realize how to max out materia and like how that actually upgraded, and so I kept trying to use it to make it work faster, and that didn't work. And then I also didn't realize, like, if I didn't get to my characters, if I didn't actually go and be Barrett for a second and go, okay, use the special item, I wouldn't gain proficiency in it until I was probably 3/4 of the way through the game. Wow. And so right before I actually like we went like over the wall, like right before that I was like, oh shit, and I went and I like just did a bunch of grinding with each of my characters. And so by the time I got Aerith back on my team, I had done no grinding with her, so she knew nothing at all, was proficient in nothing, and I'm like, I'm doing my best, this is my fault.
Right.
I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just didn't know how to do this, because I'd never actually played Final Fantasy VII, so I didn't know the basics of what I was trying to do. Go ahead, thank you.
I mean, you guys may think differently, but I enjoy random encounters. Like, I play Pokemon. Like, Pokemon it's always been random encounter until these newer generations where you can actually see the Pokemon in the overworld. I really enjoy JRPGs that are random encounters because I don't know. I don't like knowing that I can just kind of run away from somebody. Yeah, you can use an item to kind of make your random encounters less, but I don't feel like there was enough enemy encounters in the wild. Like, I just kind of felt like there was a certain section that was like, okay, enemy here, and then that was it with that entire section. I'm like, that kind of sucks, man. I want to run around and just be in fights the entire time, you know? But that's just me. I embrace the grind, so...
That's fair.
It's a low amount of that.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Yeah, and I like being able to see the enemies. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, I've even noticed that in playing a World of Final Fantasy too. It's just you see the enemies and you walk up on them and then bam, it's bam done. So
there is one thing that we need to compliment this game for that I didn't notice until later, and I didn't notice at the time at all. So my guess is most of you probably didn't. There were almost no loading screens once you were in the game. There were no loading screens. Like, in between everything, it built the cutscene of you transitioning into it, so you never spent time actually just watching a little wheel turn in the middle of your screen. And that was absolutely seamless, incredibly beautiful, and they didn't have to do it, but it delivered amazing, like, just immersion into the world. Very well done. Right.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So as we're getting close to the end of this thing, we'll jump into the next category, which was thoughts. Oh, wait, no. Theories. Sorry. Theories and comparisons. Theories and comparisons. So the stuff that I'm about to talk about is strictly theories. None of this has been confirmed. Because I know I've talked about that. I know some confirmed stuff. None of this has been confirmed. No spoilers. This is just theories. All right. So we're about to get like Alex Jones level crazy here for a second. All right. Aerith is a time traveler. Aerith is a time traveler. 100%. I think that is Aerith from Not even a time traveler, but she can jump dimensions. I think that's Aerith from the original game. 100%. So the original game ends.
And the remake is from
Aerith from the original game. Okay, so here's my theories, right? I did my homework. I made sure I was ready for this. All right, so check this out. This is me building my case here for you. Aerith, I got to tell this, Aerith's secret, right? After she touched Cloud, he was able to see the Arbiters of Fate, right? Cloud then goes from only seeing the past. In the entire original game, he can only see the past. The shit that happened in Nibelheim, somewhat seeing Zack, but not knowing it was Zack, shit like that. He then starts seeing the future the moment she touches him. He saw her death, even though it hasn't happened yet. And multiple other things. All right, that's one. Aerith already knows about Cloud before he says anything. So whenever he lands in the church and Reno immediately steps in, she literally says, "Oh, he's my bodyguard." And then he goes, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, he was in Soldier." He never said any of that to her at all. She says the words bodyguard, soldier, and merc before he ever announces that. Now, the conclusion can be made due to the fact that he has the Buster Blade, and that was Zack's. So that can be made. I'll give you that. As far as for the soldier aspect, the bodyguard, merc, that blows my fucking mind. And we obviously know that she's tied to the Whispers. We know that. We 100% know that. But she knows that the correct play out of the timeline, because Cloud goes to kill Reno, she screams at him not to do it, and then the Whispers show up. It wasn't like the Whispers showed up to stop him. The Whispers didn't show up till after Aerith initiated that at all. All right? We're still going down this rabbit hole. The flower scene. The conversation with the flowers. Aerith literally said the flowers need to say something, but they can't do it until we do something for them to tell us the information. Then Cloud says, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Nothing, don't worry about it. Today is a special day." And he says, "Why is this a special day?" And she just laughs and walks off. That was something else. All right? Hold on. The pop-out scene. This is the biggest one for me. All right? So let me grab my phone, because unfortunately I don't actually have this on my computer. So I'm actually going to send this to each one of you. This is something that another player put together as far as what they think can kind of tie this whole rumor together. And I completely agree. So this is the scene where Cloud cries. And if you look... yeah, I'm going to send it to... I put in the DFU pics, but I know not all of you were in there, so I'm also sending it to each one of you personally on Discord as well. So this is the scene shot for shot out of the original into the remake. And I think that this is 100% proof that she's, once again, showing this shit to Cloud. So if you look at that, in the original, that's when she's heading off to the temple to go pray right before she dies to Sephiroth. She tells Cloud she has to go, and this is in his dream. There's the pop out, her running away, him not being able to chase her because he puts his hand up in the remake too, and she just keeps walking. He's not able to move because of the migraine, and then he puts his hand to his head and he starts to cry. I think that was a very good pickup by a player. Very good pickup, and I just didn't notice it at the time. So I think that was a good piece put together. So there's that. On the playground, she mentioned Zack's name. She did not do that in the first one. She literally never said his name. Cloud didn't even hear Zack's name until they got to Gongaga and heard it from his parents in the original. She says it here, but his whole his headache shit blacks out the name. So in my opinion, that's her trying to jog his memory. This is where it gets real weird, right? In the scene where shit's going chaotic and they're all fighting on that tower, Tifa asks Aerith to go save Marlene. The exact dialogue is Tifa going, "Aerith, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go to 7th Heaven. It's a bar in the 7th sector." Aerith cuts her off and says, "You need me to go save Marlene." I got it. She has never been told Marlene's name. She's never seen Marlene, anything at this point. She has had zero contact with Marlene or has even heard her name mentioned once. Hasn't happened.
He had mentioned her name. I think Tifa had talked about her with Cloud.
There are like 3 different YouTubers who are on the same conspiracy theory as me at this point. You might be right. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm currently going through this playthrough trying to debunk this theory right now. I just haven't made it that far. So far, it's all been proven right.
On stuff, right? So could be
so
times that happen.
Yeah, and once I'm done with this playthrough, I'll know for sure. But like I said, that is the exact scripts that most people have pulled up, and that they've been able to find it. That's the exact dialogue on how it's went. That she has not been told Marlene once until this happens. So when Aerith touches Marlene to calm her down, the same screen animation goes off as whenever someone gets shot in the head with the whole like future beam that fucking the whispers were doing. Yeah, that thing only happens whenever people see a glimpse of the future. She did that to not only Red 13, but she also did it to Marlene. This has led to another rumor that I'm not 100% on, but I think would be very cool, is that Marlene might actually be part Cetra herself. Because we never knew who Marlene's real mother was in the original game. We knew who her dad was, but we never saw or heard anything about Marlene's real mother. Because Marlene looks at the flower in the remake and says, Daddy, as Barrett is all the way outside of Midgar, and turns around and is like, well, I guess I'll say a goodbye to Marlene. So, and that also goes back to that scene where Aerith was able to just be like, oh, well, somebody you know has left the Earth. Well, she has this in tune, like, feeling with the Earth that Barrett has now left this plane of existence, if you will, going through that portal to a different possible dimension, because we saw the whole Zack shit, which I'll get into here in a second. It's all this conspiracy theory. It's huge, dude. It's huge. I've been jumping down rabbit holes like crazy. I'm actually really happy this game has done this to me. Aerith knows far too much about Sephiroth. Far too much about Sephiroth. To have never met him, she knows so much shit about Sephiroth. It's fucking crazy. That whole scene on the highway, all the shit that she says, blew my mind. I'm like, Cloud doesn't even know this. Like, you don't even know who Sephiroth is. You've never even met him. Not to mention, the other part that ties back into the Sephiroth is whenever Cloud gets touched by that clone after saving the kids, and it turns into Sephiroth, he then tells Aerith what's wrong and what's going on with him, and he says, I think Sephiroth is still alive. And she goes, oh, yeah, that. But the Shinra stories have officially come out and have claimed that Sephiroth died in the Nibelheim reactor. That has officially come out, because she even references that later. She's like, oh, you mean the war hero Sephiroth who's dead. So, like I said, I think they left little trails during, like, really hype moments for us to, like, miss because we're so taken by what's happening in the cinematic. I think Aerith is a fucking time traveler. Maybe not from the first game, but I do feel that there is an... So, the biggest reason why I think this theory is real, and a lot of other people, is because of the Zack scene. We see Zack officially beat the Shinra troops in his last stand. We saw that happen. That obviously had never happened before. He lost in the Final Fantasy VII game whenever you see that after you go back to Shinra Mansion, and he lost in the end of Crisis Core. He dies. Cloud and Zack pass each other, both wearing the exact same sword. There's no difference. And they're saying that the reason why Cloud couldn't see it, because Aerith stops, and as soon as Zack crosses the path of Aerith, he smiles. So they're saying that Aerith kind of could feel it, but the reason why Cloud can is because he can't exist in the same space, obviously, as his other self. That doesn't make sense. He can't exist in two universes at once, if you will. Because that's obviously not the same universe. We got that thrown in our face with the whole fact that Stamp wasn't the same dog whenever that fucking potato chip bag came flying around. It wasn't the same dog. It went from a beagle to what was it? I don't remember. It was a beagle to something. A terrier, I think. Yeah, I think so. I think it went from a beagle to a terrier. So Stamp wasn't the same dog as he was whenever we were following the little spray paints in the train station. So that already gave us the fact that this was an alternate reality. So with the fact that right there showed that to us, we were able to then... I guess the main part of the theory is that Aerith is basically a conduit where she understands the timeline and how it's supposed to happen. And she's being fed this by the Earth, which is what makes her the conduit, right? So she's in touch with the planet or whatever, or like I said, the first theory, which is that this is the Aerith from the first one. And she's trying to correct the timeline to make sure that what happens. Because the weirdest part about it that really threw me was that whenever you kill the big boss, the first future memory that gets shot out goes through Red 13. And it shows the end of the game. Him running up with his cubs and howling over a destroyed Midgar. And he literally looks at them and says, this is the worst possible outcome, is what I just saw. That literally was the end of the first game. was they won, but that was like 500 years later. Red 13 ran up there with his cubs and howled over the ruins of Midgar. Obviously, no one was alive at that point besides Red 13 because he's a different race. But if that's the worst outcome, then what is Aerith coming back to fix? Whenever that was the original outcome that already happened. This has a lot of players worried, thinking that her outcome that she's trying to fix is her own death. If that gets
worried because of the change?
Yeah, that she's trying to change the timeline, because the biggest reason why this is such a big theory is because we know for a fact, based off of the dialogue on how it happened, that there are two different Sephiroths in the game. There's 100% two different Sephiroths. And the reason why we know this is because if you play the Japanese version, it does their name in front of it. And in the original game, whenever Sephiroth would talk, before Nibelheim, and I don't know the actual Japanese words, but so we'll just use Alpha and Omega. Before the Nibelheim incident, it was Alpha Sephiroth. After Nibelheim, it was Omega Sephiroth. The entire game, it's Illusion Sephiroth, the remake, Illusion. And then the final Sephiroth that we go against, and that whole final scene leading up to all the fucking whispers and shit, that is Alpha Sephiroth, so pre-Nibelheim Sephiroth. So there are two different Sephiroths in this game. That is 100% happening right now. Obviously, there was Genova illusions, but it's very weird that they've made it to be like this. It's something completely different than what it was in the first game. And so the biggest aspect of this is that Sephiroth understands the timeline, and he's trying to stop certain things, which is why he killed Barret. He's trying to do certain things because he can defy the whispers. We've seen that happen. So he's trying to do certain things to make sure that he wins in the end, and Aerith has been brought back to try to correct the timeline and make sure it's supposed to go as planned, if not better. So both of them are fighting against each other, and this is this whole battle going on that we don't even know about. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Are you going to be upset if they keep Aerith alive?
I'm going to be extremely upset. I think that, and other people have said, well, they might kill off like Tifa or Barret, because we saw that whole dream thing, or not dream, but when they were in that fucking 3D machine in Shinra, where Barret and Tifa both died by Sephiroth coming down and killing them, and Cloud was just standing there. That was supposed to be kind of like a warning that this won't be the same as it was last time, that there's a good chance that anybody could die. But there was a significance to Aerith dying in the first game. A huge significance. And a reason why a lot of people believe that she is actually the same Aerith as the first one is because in the actual book, The Kids Are All Right, they discuss Aerith's actual battle in the live stream with Sephiroth. That whenever Cloud and them killed Sephiroth, she could sense him in the live stream still trying to do what he was doing, which is why Meteor was able to get through Holy. And that she chose to stay away from Sephiroth because even his power then was still massive. So she actually had to be away from Sephiroth and then still do her magic through the live stream, that she actually has complete control of herself as a single person inside of the live stream. And she can choose when she wants to just wither away and be part of the planet. And Sephiroth had already proven to us that he did that in the first game, because whenever he died in Nibelheim, he went through the live stream to the North Crater and started recreating himself in that fucking crystal that Cloud brought him the black materia in. He was literally dead the entire fucking game until that point. So we already know that that's possible with one character. Why wouldn't it be possible with Aerith, who is actually a fucking Cetra?
So that's kind of scary. That, well, not. I only say that because Kingdom Hearts is an amazing game, but Kingdom Hearts, it's also extremely convoluted. Like the timeline's extremely convoluted. So like it's super confusing. I don't know if you've ever played all the games or not, but like it is super confusing on what exactly is fucking going on right here, because you have stuff going on in this timeline and stuff going on in this timeline. You have I don't want them to do that at Final Fantasy.
Well, the way I think that they could play it perfectly is that, let's say Zack, I still think that Zack should die. I still 100% believe that Zack should die. That makes total sense to me. But what they did say that they're going to do is that they're going to actually incorporate all the places that you went to in Crisis Core in Final Fantasy VII, the remake. So you're going to actually visit those as the team. So those will be new places. I think that would be perfect spots for them to do cutscenes as soon as you get there, and you actually get to see what Zack did while he was there and the differences that he made while he was there to tell Zack's story for the new players as well. Because they're incorporating everything into the remake as far as the compilation is concerned. whenever they talked about whenever Heidegger was talking to President Shinra and said, these sewer rats we think might be the same ones who made the attempt on your life. That's from before Crisis. Whenever that happened, that is literally a thing out of before Crisis. So they're already doing that. The whole Wu-Tai being part of Avalanche before Crisis. Like, they're already doing that with the compilation. So
they're making these strong references, letting you know they're kind of joining these two stories, and you're saying that there's a much bigger, not conspiracy, but there's a much bigger thing going on.
Yeah, it's got people fucking all over the place. Like, all over the place. And, like, I don't know where I fall on it. I do know that I fall on the fact that if anybody else dies, it's not going to be as meaningful as Aerith's death. And I think if Aerith doesn't die, it's going to completely change the game for me, because the biggest thing with Final Fantasy VII when it came out, and the directors talked about it as well, is that it was a real hard look at not only death, but the consequences that come along with it. Because every turn, you're seeing death. The plate dropping and killing over 300,000 people in Midgar. Aerith dying. Cait Sith having to sacrifice himself in the fucking Temple of Agents to get the black material.
Oh!
Dude, I already told you, Cait Sith is a fucking robot cat, and he fucking comes back to life.
Oh, yeah.
I did. I already told you. Yeah. So, all this shit is just like, it's just death on death on death on death. Zack dying. It's just death. And the consequences that come after that. So, for them to literally take something that molded the original game, especially one as iconic as Aerith dying to Sephiroth and taking that out, that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. That changes so much of what comes afterwards, because then she doesn't activate Holy from the live stream. She doesn't then get to use her power in the live stream to then boost up Holy. That changes a lot of it. It's like, yeah, Tifa could die, but what is Tifa going to add to the final fight after she's dead? She's not a Cetra. Barrett's not a Cetra. Red 13 is an ancient something. We don't fucking know. Maybe he can do something. I don't fucking know. But Cait Sith, that's not going to fucking do anything for me. Sid, Yuffie, that's not going to do anything. Which I did like that small little hint that they put in there about whenever they were storming the base, and Biggs said the whole thing about Wu-Tai and Avalanche working together. And he's like, well, Cloud's like, what was the deal? And he's like, Wu-Tai wants us to sign a contract that says once this is all over, they get all the Midgar, or all the materia in Midgar. And I was like, that is such a fucking Yuffie and her dad thing. That is such a Yuffie and her dad thing. Anyways, what were you going to say, JoJo?
Oh, I'm saying, my feeling is it's something like Aerith knows she knows because Sephiroth is the one who's from another reality. Aerith can sense the stuff is off now. So I think this is a Sephiroth who knows how things play out and then is trying to avoid reality where he gets beat. Aerith, by all of it. So I think he might try not to kill her, peacefully. At least this version of it. He doesn't want her to be able to cast Holy from live stream.
Right.
I think the theory is, like, overall here is, they know that we know that Aerith dies.
Right.
And so I think they're going to try fake us out, having her not die where we think she dies.
It's possible.
Then do, like, a final destination thing where death finds her anyway.
Right.
Let's find a different way to do it, so we're shocked again.
Well, see, and that was the original theory. But then the reason why that got quote-unquote debunked is because the people who were setting death back were the Watchers. But they're dead now.
Sure.
We killed all of them.
Well, it's much that finds her by fate or whatever, but they realize... Aerith realizes the only way for them to win is for her to die.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because she knows. She knows.
Yeah, that's
it's a
possible.
Tony Stark thing, you know what I'm saying?
Realize that she has to make the sacrifice.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, and that's another big thing. People wonder if the Watchers are actually dead. Like, are they actually dead? Or are we going to actually see them in the second one? Is that an actual real thing? I mean, it kind of seems crazy that you make this whole, like, mystic being and then bam, they're just gone. Like, first game, it's done, and we still have no idea how many installments are left. There could be 7, 8, 9, 10 installments, and the fucking mystic beings that control the entire destiny of the planet is just gone now. Like, it just doesn't really make sense to me, or a lot of other people online who are bitching about it as well. I don't know, man. This game left me. This game showed up with me having so many answers about what was going to continue to stay the same, and it's left me with even more. That's the one part that I hate the most about this game. I love it to death. That's the one part I hate the most. Is like I literally finished the game with more answers or more questions. Sorry, more questions.
There you go. Now you're making sense
Yeah,
again.
now
I
I'm
was
making
actually
sense.
about to
Sorry.
ask you. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Sorry. I fucked that up. I had a lot of questions. Now I have even more. I mean, once I saw Zach literally live, I literally just like, what is this? What is this?
Really jumped up and down.
Ugh.
I mean, I have no idea where they're going with that because it can't be from the reality that we've been playing in.
No, not at all.
No way.
It can't be. It would be cool if we get to play as Zach for a little bit, though. I will throw that out there. If we get a little bit of a playable Zach.
That's a fleshed out time now to pad the game.
And that was one of my hates. I absolutely hate the new voice actor for Zach. I fucking hate him. I hate him so much. The first one was so good, and his voice fit Zach perfect. I do not like this new Zach at all. I don't. I've had a rough time with certain characters and their new voice actors, mainly Sephiroth, because the new voice actor for Sephiroth is nowhere near as raspy as the other one. Like the other Sephiroth, whenever I heheard him for the first time in the movie, I said, that's it. That's exactly how I picture Sephiroth talking. 100%. And then this new one, nah, I just
Is Lamp Fast busy? I don't get it.
Some contract shit happened, and a lot of people are saying Square Enix fucked over the original voice actors pretty hardcore, and no one's been talking about it. So that story is pretty hardcore under wraps right now. But from what I've heard, Square Enix kind of did something dirty.
With voice actor unions over the past couple of years, and
I mean, it makes sense that they would go younger too, and they're actually pulling people who are from the community. Like the chick that voices Aerith is like a full-time streamer, like she's hardcore in the gaming community. So it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know why I do not like him at all. I'm just waiting to hear Kate Sith and him not actually be like have the Scottish accent like he did in the movie. I'm just gonna be pissed off.
Something if that happens.
I will be so mad, dude. That's gonna piss me off so much.
Sith out loud, see if they pronounce it.
Like Kate Sith or Ketchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. I don't know. That's why I'm saying it has to be Scottish, because the whole Ketchi thing, like that was the funny part about that. That was the cool aspect of Kate Sith. If they change that, then I'm gonna be like, well, what the fuck are we even doing here anymore, dude? Come on now. Come on. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I hope that he's still on Mog too, by the way. If they don't have Mog in the remake, I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm like, what the fuck is this? They have him riding around Red 13 like he did in the movie. I'm like, bro, come on. Kate Sith is his own character. I want to run slots again. All right. I want the chance of running slots and me fucking it up and killing my entire team and getting the game over. I want that.
How we will play.
Oh my gosh, that just reminds me. I'm so sorry, JoJo. Continue. I gotta say something after this. And you guys are gonna laugh. At least I hope, because I actually cried when it happened. But continue, JoJo.
Well, I know.
I wonder how it will work, like to play as him.
Oh yeah.
Kill his Mog arms.
Or have like those dice that he throws out, or the fucking toy soldiers and shit. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird one for sure. But go ahead, Mike.
Alright, so I was watching Chris stream.
I knew you were gonna tell this story, you son of a bitch.
Hey. Just listen. Alright, so he's playing Final Fantasy VII, right? And I jump in, I'm hanging out with him and stuff like that, and he goes, you know what, man? I think I'm gonna run my master save. And I was like, master save? What's that mean? He's like, it means I got everything unlocked. I'm maxed out, 900 or 9,999 unlocked.
This is the original, by the way.
And the original. He goes, I was like, oh, cool. And he goes, you know what? I'm not even gonna use a summon. He goes, I'm so confident I'm not even gonna use a summon.
I said I'm not even gonna look at my materia.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna look at my materia. He goes, I don't think I have them set right, but I don't even care about my materias. I'm gonna beat the shit out of Sephiroth. And I was like, all right, cool. I was expecting to see that happen. He gets all the way down there, and he's fighting what's the Sephiroth? What form is he?
Safer Sephiroth, and I survived two supernovas, not one, fucking two.
Two supernovas, right? Safer Sephiroth, and fucking Tifa gets confused and kills the entire team.
Because I had Slash on, so it hits all enemies, and because she was confused, she attacked the entire party and killed Cloud herself and
everybody. It killed the entire team. After he was like, I'm gonna fuck Sephiroth up. There's no way he's got a chance. He goes, I'm not even worried about my materia, and he gets the shit kicked out of him by Tifa. Not even Sephiroth. So Tifa is the worst enemy in the game.
Oh man, man. Yep, she knocked out my entire team. I survived 2 supernovas. I was all braggy. I was like, dude, this isn't nothing,
I
dude.
laughed so hard I cried.
She literally is spinning in a circle. She stops, punches the ground, and all 3 of my characters fall flat, and then it does the game over continue. And I was like, well, that's going to do it for this stream. I was like, because I'm not doing that again.
Oh, God, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Fuck me. Yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts. So before we get to the last section where, you know, some of you guys are going to be able to leave if that's what you want to do, anybody else have any theories or thoughts on what they think is going to happen? I know JoJo kind of talked about some of his for what he thinks going to happen with Aerith and stuff like that. Kelsey, Mike, got any thoughts for going into... No thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know.
My thing.
No.
Yeah. I only know what you tell me, so.
That. We have a whole show based around that.
Legit. If I have any questions, I just ask.
I think the next game I get like that, I gotta start feeding you like false information and shit, and then you like play the remake. You're like, dude, man, this is fucking completely different. Holy shit! It's like, yeah, I know, that's crazy, right? Like Cloud had wings and shit. I haven't seen wings on anybody but Sephiroth. What is this nonsense?
I haven't seen a wing on him since Kingdom Hearts. It's crazy. It's
That's
weird.
true. I forgot about that. Oh, Kingdom Hearts, dude.
Oh man,
That-
Hercules though. I love Hercules.
That final fight with Sephiroth was rough. My first time go, that was really rough for me, and I didn't notice. But it's how you treat certain people in your party. It's who you meet first throughout the whole situation. Because my healer's always Aerith, and I didn't know that until I watched Mike's stream. Because I had beat it, and I got Tifa, and then Barret, and then finally killed Sephiroth, and then Aerith and Red 13 showed up at the end. When I was watching Mike's stream, he got Tifa, and then Aerith, and then Barret and Red 13 showed up at the end. And I was like, man, because that was so rough for me, because I kept dying because I didn't have my healing material on. It was all on fucking Aerith. And I was like, all right, I got to take it all off of her and put it on fucking Cloud and them, and I did. And then I was like, all right, sweet, I beat it. And then I went and watched Mike's stream, and I was like, how'd you get Aerith? What is this nonsense? And I was like, oh, okay, I see how it is. So, Tifa's such a
There,
badass.
Chris.
What?
Said flirt a little harder with Aerith next time.
I know, right? I can't. Tifa's bae. I can't. Tifa was my first video game
I
crush.
have to say this. I
Either.
think 8 seconds. Like, Cloud's voice lines to Tifa versus Cloud's voice lines to Aerith so clearly indicate he is super into Tifa and he is, like, aware Aerith exists. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's fair. I do think that with how innocent Aerith was when she cussed that one time, it was just like, it was so great. Whenever she was climbing up that ladder and it broke and she grabbed it, she's like, shit! And then Cloud helped her up. That was so good. I was just like, oh, dude, Aerith's so like innocent. And she's like, shit. And I was like, that's pretty great. I like that. That was awesome. Oh, man. I don't know. But anyway, since that's all for theories and comparisons, we are now going to move into, I guess we'll do the final thoughts first, and then I'll jump into the spoilers aspect. So that way people can wrap up on what they thought. So final thoughts / ratings. So any final thoughts you want to throw out there as far as, you know, your loves for the game or what you want to see for the second one? If not, you can just go ahead and rate it. We'll do a scale of 1 to 5. Do a non-IGN scale. They're 1 to 10 nonsense. Do a 1 out of 5. I think they're 1 out of 10. I don't know. Who knows? IGN sucks.
They're 1 out of 10.
Okay. So 1 out of 5. So you had to give this, I think, for me personally, based on the ending with the fact that I'm not happy with Zach and the fact that we had the whole fucking Kingdom Hearts boss, I think I'm going to give this a 4.5, maybe even a 4 out of 5 due to that. I'm just not a big fan of the big bosses, man. I'm not a big fan of that at all. That really is not fun to me. I like fighting, like even whenever you fought gigantic dragons in the first one, like they were still, you know, like on your level aspect of, you know, the back and forth, and they weren't taking up, you know, the entire fucking screen, and they weren't like 4-hour conquest to go in and kill this fucking boss by taking it out like one limb at a time. So I don't know. That's a Kingdom Hearts thing, and I think that should stay at Kingdom Hearts. That's where that belongs. That's my thoughts.
I would say 4 out of 5.
Fair enough.
4 out of 5. Just because of that. And it may be just because I have a regular PlayStation. I don't know. The rendering really got to me. There was some battle mechanics that I was like, nah, that's not cool. But I mean, dude, the game's beautiful though. Outside of the bad rendering in certain spots, it's beautiful. The dancing is my favorite part. My second favorite part's the train station with the ghosts and stuff like that. I absolutely love that. It was beautiful, man. It was well put together. But yeah, so 4. I'll say 4.
Fair enough. Kelsey?
I'm also going to say 4, and my reasons involve... I feel like this game ultimately was made for people that have played the original, and if you were walking into this with completely fresh eyes, you're going to spend a lot of time really confused, and you're going to spend a lot of time not really knowing how to build your character, how to build your team, how to do these things effectively, and the game doesn't necessarily help you do that very clearly. You have to do a lot of digging, and that is a little bit alienating to me, even though I knew most of the story. And since they are intending that this is a remake that not only will appeal to the original players, but will bring in new people, I feel like their first installment may actually be too confusing to effectively bring in new players. And there are randomly big chunks that feel nothing like the rest of the game. That stupid lever thing took me forever for no apparent reason, and there was no value in it being that sensitive and that hard. No value. And then the random fights that you go in on the motorcycles, those just had a very different feel. Once you step through the portal, that whole thing had a radically different feel than the rest of the game. And so those kind of details didn't flow as well, so I would land this at a 4. Jojo?
I love the motorcycles, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. Anyways, continue.
I haven't thought about motorcycles, but like, I would say if we're doing out of 5, I would give it a 5. I was sucked into it. It was beautiful, and they made all the characters so much more compelling, I thought. I mean, they so much dialogue, and it's pretty good. Like, I mean, me sometimes too, which is impressive. Like, hard to do. And the battle system I got really caught into. I mean, it's got its issues. It's not perfect, and I'm sure they'll hopefully iterate on that a little bit. But I didn't want that game to stop. I wanted to just keep being in Midgar forever. It was, yeah, I loved it, for real.
If it wasn't for the big baddie, dude, I'd be right there with you, man. I totally would be able to overlook the Zack thing and be like, you know what? We'll figure it out when we get to part 2. But if it wasn't for the big boss, dude, that was just... Literally, I got to it. And in my head, I was like, I'm having fun because I'm playing my favorite game of all time. And I'm getting my remake. But I'm really not okay with this part right now. And I think that was the only time I played through a part of the game with a straight face. I literally was just that taken out of it. Like, it was just like... It just felt like... From going from the first one to this with those 3 fucking gigantic whispers fighting you and then the big ass fucking guy, it was just out of fucking nowhere and totally took me out of the situation. I was just like, I feel like I'm playing Kingdom Hearts right now. I really fucking do. All this jumping the fucking rocks to get to the next levels and shit. Like, I was like, this is Kingdom Hearts. This is literally what this is.
I just swear there was some Kingdom Hearts shit going on, and I was kind of prepared to be mad about it, and then it was less Kingdom Heartsy than I thought it was going to be, and so maybe that's why it's like, oh, it's not actually like 3 clouds hanging out together, thing. Like, so cautiously giving them the benefit of the doubt that it won't be.
Well, that was one of the big rumors, is that those 3 whispers are Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett from another dimension, and they're trying to save their dimension by stopping the Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett that we are now.
Like that.
What'd you say, Kelsey?
Mention now, like, the official... Well, save this. There's some official information about who those...
Oh, I know the official information. That's why I'm telling you that's a rumor. No, that's why I'm telling you that's a rumor. I know the official information. That's a rumor. So I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no.
It was also my first thought.
I guess I am saying no, but yeah.
Read the scan information was, this is Barrett, Tifa, and Cloud.
Yeah, because whenever you do the scan information, it does say from an alternate universe. Right? I think that's what it says. But it doesn't say who it is.
It's from an alternate universe and uses a gun. Okay. This one has a sword.
Uses a sword. I felt like the big boss was filler.
Yeah, they needed something to end the game.
And I would have been completely fine with jumping through the portal, fighting Sephiroth. Boom, roasted. Done. But They added an extra 45 minutes to an hour, with the boss. It's whatever. And this what it is. It's a heartless, but it's what it is.
I agree.
I thought the reason they added Roche to the game was to be the final boss of this part of the game.
I loved Roche.
I liked Roche a lot too. I think what they added him for was kind of what I asked for. I just don't think they used him to his full potential. So what I said is I thought it would be cool for Cloud to have somebody, because he's gonna shit on these Shinra infantry. It's gonna happen. He never made it actually into soldier, but he went through all the same processes. He just didn't have the fucking president shake his hand and say, "You're now part of soldier." Like, that part didn't happen. But he went through the Mako chamber. Like, he did all that shit. He has the Genova cells in him. So it's like these Shinra troops are not on his level. To give him someone who is on his level throughout the game, I thought was very smart, because it actually made you like, oh shit, is Roach gonna pop up here? But after that second time, and he just was gone. There wasn't even a mention of him again. It was kind of like, okay, is he never going to show back up again? Like, the dude was basically in love with Cloud. Like, literally, what the fuck? And he was just gone. And that was so early in the game for him to just be gone. Like, if he would have showed up one more time. But I was watching a YouTuber, and he says that if they were to kind of give a little bit of a backstory on Roche in the second game, it would make him feel a lot more like an actual character versus just a placeholder. Because that's what a lot of people feel he is right now, is just a fighting placeholder. A lot of people like him because of his personality, but he is like a fighting placeholder at this point.
He's filler.
Yeah. And if they could just give him a little bit of a backstory, because my initial thoughts were, it would be cool if there were multiple soldiers, or even if they just want to use Roche, whatever. And it's like Sephiroth, the big boy on top of the food chain, is gone. All these fucking soldiers that are in third and second class are they're trying to make their way up to soldier first class. And what better way to do that to impress the president with taking out Avalanche? That was what I thought would be the best way that they could fucking do that. And then you have all these random fucking soldiers, second class and third class, that Cloud might actually know, and then have to fucking fight them. I thought that'd be cool, because they did have that one fucking guy that knows. That's so random to me. I still have no idea what the fuck's going on, but that random Shinra guy that somewhat knows Cloud was like, "Wait, you're Cloud?" and shit like that. And it's like, it was so random. So
the guy
random.
mentions a name that is theoretically mentioned in the original game, or in Crisis Core. It's like a direct reference to something. I don't know what the point is.
I don't remember any other infantrymen that ever talked to Cloud besides the one that he was stationed with when the helicopter first went down. But he walked with Zack the entire time, and that other infantryman was back there with fucking Sung. So other than that, I don't remember anybody ever having any communications with Cloud at all during Soldier besides Zack. That's it. So I don't know. And as far as Crisis Core goes, I mean, the only other big names that stand out are like Genesis and Angeal, but I don't know why they would be fucking soldiers. Infantry soldiers now in fucking Final Fantasy VII. That makes zero fucking sense. Yeah, I mean, they were fucking soldier first class, but now they're just fucking random infantry guys. Like, that would be so dumb. If one of them take off their helmet, it's one of those, I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be like, this literally makes zero sense to me. This literally makes zero sense to me.
Just random dudes also in the original game. Whatever it is, it's just like,
you know what?
Some guy I went to school with.
It could be somebody from before Crisis. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, or it might be that. Yeah.
Because Cloud, you deal with a lot of Cloud's like military life in that game, so it could definitely be from that. I might have to go back and replay that again and see who's all in there, so that way I know. So that when the name comes up, I'm not sitting there like a dumbass, like, oh, I don't know who this is. And be like, hey, it's that one guy from...
Yeah. That's going to be us.
I could be like, hey, it's that one guy from the fucking cell phone game that they released forever ago. That was only in Japan. Oh, man. Oh, well. It is what it is. But yeah, so then we'll go ahead. We've got our final thoughts. We're going to move into spoilers. This take about like 5, maybe 10 minutes. But anybody that doesn't want this can see yourself out. Because like I said, this for sure can spoil the second installment. Some of this stuff has been officially... Some of this stuff has been officially announced by the directors through the Final Fantasy Ultimania. So this is 100% legit. These are not rumors. This has been written and printed in Square Enix magazines. These were actual sit-down interviews with the directors. So Nomura and all of them. And this is word-for-word shit that came out of their mouth that they allowed to get published. This is no way in shape or form rumored at all. So yeah, so you want to leave...
the main bad guy.
No, he's actually the hero. He's going to take over for Cloud. Cloud's just going to
Exactly.
pass out somewhere and be
Exactly.
useless after that point.
Exactly.
You're my living legacy. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll keep the Pokeballs.
So, as far as official stuff that has been said, and it's not too much. I mean, I might be jumping the gun, but I don't want to accidentally spoil it for somebody and they get upset. So, if anybody who's still watching, potential spoilers coming your way. This one for sure could have spoiled something for Kelsey because she has yet to see Advent Children. The three guys that we were just talking about, the fucking things, those are actually Kadaj's gang from the movie. That has 100% been said. So we got Kadaj, Laz, and Yaz. That they are for sure all three of those guys, which makes sense because now if you think of their weapons, it makes total sense that that's who they were. One using their fist, one using the gun, and then the other one with the sword. Totally makes fucking sense. They don't really explain more about like how that actually goes into play and what that actually does, which I thought was, hey, whatever. But they just confirmed that no, it is not that one rumor that it's clouding them from another universe. It is 100% these guys. So I don't know how that plays, but that's their way of still putting the compilation into the actual remake. Where this does confuse a lot of people is that one of the rumors that did get debuffed is that this is that the Sephiroth that we're mainly dealing with is Sephiroth from Advent Children. A lot of people thought that that's who it was, and then they said no, but then they told us that we were dealing with fucking Kadaj's gang. So then it doesn't really make sense. It's like, if we're dealing with Kadaj's gang, how could we not be dealing with Sephiroth as well?
My best idea of it is the Whispers aren't necessarily working with Sephiroth at that point.
Right.
So I could be the spirits of those three guys fighting you to ensure that they come to exist still, right? Because if Sephiroth doesn't die, they wouldn't happen.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because Sephiroth dies, and then they get created through the live stream due to Genova to bring Sephiroth back. So
right.
yeah.
So if things go differently, then those guys never exist. So they're just fighting to hopefully exist.
That makes sense. That's fair. I can get on board with that one. So then the other thing is so Zack obviously is alive and in a separate timeline. That's 100% basically what Nomura said. And he tried to be the cheeky little Nomura that we know. Said that there is a huge mystery within a live character, ha ha ha. And then after that, he said stamp is something that's very important for you to pay attention to. And then the reporter then said, "Oh, you mean like the fact that he's a different dog in the Zack scene?" And then Nomura goes, "Oh, is he?" Like, yeah. Exactly. So we obviously know at this point that it's obviously a different fucking timeline. So the whole time travel thing is possibly more of an actual timeline thing where Aerith could personally be. That's where the main things are coming from now, is that Aerith is from a different timeline and she's trying to help the Aerith in this timeline to figure out what it is they need to do to make sure what happens isn't going to happen, or what Sephiroth is trying to remake or whatever. So yeah, the two Sephiroth things we already kind of talked about because that's a rumor, but that was a little bit more confirmed just by the fact of looking up the dialogue. The directors didn't come out and say it, which is why I felt comfortable saying it.
Where they came out and said there are 4 Sephiroths in the game.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, because some of them were titled Illusion, and in the original game, like the Sephiroths that we fought and saw were all Genova clones. We knew that from the get-go. So that could be what that is too.
One of the clouds is the cloud that, not cloud. One of the Sephiroths is just one that Cloud sees only himself as he's having flashbacks.
Gotcha.
It's not a real Sephiroth.
Mm-hmm.
There's ones that are a clone. Then there's real Sephiroth, and then there's this 4th mystery Sephiroth.
Okay.
Like,
That's fair. That's fair.
There's only 2 that are actually Sephiroth.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one is that the remake is actually officially the 5th installment. So the actual compilation itself is not non-canon. It's the 5th installment. It's something that they had been planning on for a while, and that the word remake does have 2 meanings. One of the directors said, I wanted to name it remake so people didn't think it was a movie or a cartoon show. that it was an official game and that it was a remake of that game. And the other director said, I will tell you what the word remake means, but unfortunately you'll have to ask me again in a couple years because I can't tell you right now. So a lot of people think that obviously it's once again Sephiroth and Aerith remaking the game, remaking the situations that happened, which is what is also leading to a lot of those theories that I was talking about earlier.
Makes sense.
Yeah, man, it's some crazy stuff. It is some crazy stuff because they also said in the same ultimatum, the Final Fantasy VII story is a Final Fantasy VII story, and it's going to continue out from here on out. And then also in the same fucking ultimatum, say that this is a remake. Things are going to change. So people are really fucking confused by what's actually going on. One of my favorite parts of the ultimatum was like, one of the directors like, I write the entire story and then I send off this director. Then he goes through it, and I don't even know how much of my original story stays in the final production. Then that director says whenever he gets it, he just proofreads it and then sends it over to another director. And then that director claims that he writes the entire story and the other directors don't even touch it. So it's like all three of these guys apparently don't fucking talk to each other at all. Or they're all three lying. Like, one or the other is definitely fucking happening. Like, who is writing this game? Because apparently nobody knows at this point. So
I don't remember exactly what it was I read, but there's something that suggested that the stuff that we think is like Nomura going off and Kingdom Heartsing was one of the other directors, maybe.
I've heard that too, Katase. Yeah, because Katase was the main person who wants to actually change things. Like, he wants a different aspect. So a lot of people are definitely blaming the whole thing that I keep referring to as the Kingdom Hearts boss. That's more Katase than Nomura. But fuck, dude. I mean, Nomura loves Kingdom Hearts, dude. That's his shit. Oh, yeah. And it's very hard for me to believe that Nomura wasn't like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Let's throw that in there. Big ass boss? Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think about that at all.
I don't know. And like I said, it's just, there's so many people that needed to die and they didn't die. And I'm just like, is death even a thing in this game anymore? Like, I feel like everybody got evacuated out of Sector 7. Wedge.
It might be a Nomura thing that he doesn't like killing his characters.
I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. But like Wedge, there's no reason he should have survived. Biggs, Jesse, zero reason they should have survived. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, we understand completely that there is going to be more installments, and it will unfold the story more for us, and we'll be able to understand it better when that happens. But until then, this is what we got. Shit. Well, I mean, that's pretty much all I had, dude. You got anything else?
Oh, I think we covered.
I think so.
Much everything.
Yeah, we did a damn good fucking review show. I was pretty excited about this, and a lot of the fucking Dead Funny community was as well. So they are pumped for this to come out. They're all up in my stream, just like, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. So it's coming. It's coming. We just gotta wait for Kelsey to beat the game. Don't want to ruin anything for her, and that's fair. I wanted her to be able to, especially since she put in so much work on the DFU. I mean, that lasted. I mean, every episode is a week. So that's how many weeks, however many episodes that was from start to finish, how many weeks we were on that project.
There were a lot of
Yeah, I mean, we go literally through 7 into Crisis Core, into Dirge. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. We didn't do Before Crisis because I didn't really feel like that was too crazy. I just briefly touched over it a little bit, and then she's going to come to my house and watch Advent Children. And then we're going to do a review show on that, too, so that way she can give her thoughts on the movie and kind of tie up the Final Fantasy VII saga, if you will.
Is that we're going to get into snowboarding, too?
The snowboarding game. And then there was that dude, I forget about that game all the fucking time. And I remember specifically playing that as a kid. I was so happy to play as Cloud. And then there was also G-Bike too, where you were just riding around on a little fucking motorcycle. Yeah, that game. Oh, there were so many fucking just spin-offs that did not need to happen. Oh, man.
No.
Well, I was just happy that whenever that one guy ended up buying that cell phone from Japan and then just literally like ported the entire game onto the computer and then uploaded it for people to download. So you literally got to play Before Crisis on your fucking computer. Like, I still have the game files myself. I was really playing it like a couple months ago just to kind of like go through it again. It looks terrible. Don't get me wrong, because it's supposed to be a cell phone game, a flip phone game at that point. Not even a touchscreen, a flip phone game at that point. So it looks terrible, but fuck, man. It tells the story perfect. Oh my gosh. All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell so that way you get notified next time we upload another video. Hit us in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts on the game. If you disagree with anything we said, if you have theories of your own, obviously, as far as spoiler content goes, don't do that because I will definitely delete those. We're going to try to be nice, just like there will be spoiler in the title of this video so that way no one else gets spoiled. But, you know, a good majority of this is very watchable. So we want to keep it that way. But yeah, and we also have our social links down there as well, Twitters and Twitches, so you can go check those out if you want a more direct form of communication or hang out and watch us play some video games. But at the end of all that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.